ladies and gentlemen, Miss Empress T. Take it away, my lady. What do you have for us today? I know you didn't have anything prepared. You're probably going to wing it. You're probably going to make it even more exciting and all them good thing there. Talk to me.
Oh, no, I didn't really have anything prepared.
Right.
But we have been talking about a topic on my Facebook with some of our friends based off of a video that was sent out by Dr. Farrah Gray.
Okay.
And in this video, a woman goes on to say that she and her husband don't have any friends outside of their marriage.
Right.
So by that, meaning the husband has no female friends, he doesn't need them. She has no male friends, she doesn't need them. And that's how it is, and that's how it's supposed to be. And, you know, regardless of if you've had these friends forever, once you get married or once you're in a committed relationship, that's it. The friends go. So I reposted it on my page, and I had some friends chime in. And it was a mixture of opinions. And so I wanted to bring it here and also talk a little bit about how technology has or has not affected our relationships and how we communicate with people.
Okay, so how you want to take it? The one
so
about the
I would
posting?
like some people to chime in. You know, call in. You can even in the chat room. We can read it out. I don't know if I'll be able to see and talk. Sometimes I can't walk and chew gum. But, you know, let's have it be a discussion rather than me this time just leading it. Because I would like to just hear, you know, what others think about it in terms of, you know, has technology affected the way that we communicate? Does it affect our relationships now? And is it considered you know, cheating to have friends of the other opposite sex once you're married or in a committed relationship?
No. Was this a video that was posted, or was just somebody just wrote an article, and then it generated discussions after that?
No, it was a video. The young lady.
See, it would have been good if I'd gotten that and I was able to play it so that I could hear some of the dialogue that went on there. If you want to get the posting and just drop it on the chat room, I could play it from there, I think. But
okay, I'm going to try and do it as we're talking now. Remember, I'm not the tech one now.
Yeah. Well, what you can do also, you can just drop it as a private message to me on Facebook, and I'll be able to play it from there. But
okay.
But while you're doing that, folks, again. Empress T, over the past 7 weeks, she started off with spirituality, and she went on to ego. She went on to feng shui. She went on to higher frequency and different things. And this week she decided, hey, I'm going to do something different. The responses have been just tremendous. The amount of response that I've gotten from individuals about the presentation, and you see, the chat room is just loaded. We have something like about 38 persons that are tuning in now on the various chat rooms. Some people can't even get into this chat room, but you know, it goes already. Sometimes it's just a matter of hearing, getting ideas, and actually running with the ideas. And on Tuesdays, we bring Sir Keith Anthony. He brings in another dimension to what we do. And then on Monday, Toronto Queen does her thing. So with that, Empress, have you been able to send over the link for me?
I'm trying to get to it right now.
Okay. All right.
You should get it in about 2 minutes.
Okay. On where? On Ruler Brown Network? I mean on my Facebook or in the chat room?
I'm going to send it to your Facebook.
All right. Okay. So yeah, see if you can run the dialogue though, because we don't want to create a dead spot here.
Yeah. So basically, I just want to hear from other people. You know, what is your take on it? Do you feel that technology has helped or hindered our relationships?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to build the dialogue, you know, because you won't get the response like that in terms of.
Okay, in the chat room. Okay, the video's coming right now. Maybe we should just hear. In the chat room,
Yeah. Okay.
They can say yes or no.
All right. Let me ask
Okay,
you.
I see
Let me ask you.
Ruel posted a statement. Here we go. He says, I have been talking about this topic for ages in my book, Marriage Should Not Be a Prison Sentence where you're deprived of all things you enjoy doing. Exactly. And by giving up your friends, you give up a little bit of yourself. It's supposed to be an add-on, if anything, not necessarily a takeaway.
Okay. No, Keith Anthony. Keith Anthony says technology has improved my relationships, and I didn't go to talk with anybody until I got a PC. I spent years in total isolation. Okay. Keith Anthony, if you want to call in and engage Empress T, do that. Royal, anybody wants to call in, the number here is 770-744-2154. That's 770-744-2154. 770. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you receive the video link?
To where? Where did you send it? That's what I was asking.
I sent it to your Facebook.
To my Facebook. Okay. Didn't it on my Facebook page, on the main page?
Yes, on your page.
Okay, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Here is a video, and I'm gonna see if we can have a little input.
Oh my goodness, I just had confirmation about this topic. I touched a little while back about having the opposite sex as your friend when in a committed relationship or marriage. People, when I say there's no such thing, there is no such thing. But hey, let's get rid of my opinion about this. Let's get rid of the fact of what I think about this. I was just listening to the radio station. It's 101.3 or something like that. I don't even hardly listen to radio like that unless I'm going to go see my husband, which I just came from seeing my husband, and I love him so much, guys. I love my husband. But anyway, just came from seeing my husband, and I just had this discussion with him because on the way up there, I was listening to the statistics they were giving out about women who have the plan B option man when they're in a relationship or marriage. It's sad. I don't even want to tell you the percentage of women, but I'm going to give it to you. So they ran a statistic on how many women have a plan B man when in a committed relationship and marriage. 85% of women have that plan B man, that man they know they can go back to if anything ever happens. That plan B man, if the current relationship or marriage messes up, they know that man is going to drop everything he has for that woman. 85% of women said they have a plan B man. That is sad. Now this goes both ways. Now this whole having the opposite sex thing as a friend goes both ways, because me and my husband both agree that neither one of us need, we don't desire neither need for another. I don't need to talk to another man. I don't need another man to tell me that I'm beautiful. I know this mess already. My husband tells me this. I don't need to talk to another man about my problems or issues. I'm going to talk to my husband. If I got a problem with my husband, I'm going to go talk to him, not another man. If he has a problem with me, he's going to come talk to me. So that statistic very well proves the fact, and you can go to the radio station website, whatever you may do, 101.3 something, it's in Mississippi. 85% of the women said they have a plan B option. That just goes to show people know what they're doing. And also, out of those 85% of people, I think over 50% of those women said that they knew these people for over 7 plus years. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care if you had your diapers changed together since you were babies. You've known each other since. When you get into a committed relationship or a marriage, all that goes away. None of that stuff matters anymore. It's just you and your spouse, you and your husband, you and your wife. There's nothing that another man can offer me that I've been friends with for years. If I'm planning on spending a lifetime with my husband, there's nothing another man can offer me. People, you got to get into this mindset. Don't let someone else try to trick and fool you as if, oh, this is just a friend. They need to get out of here with that. So to my ladies, if you're currently in a committed relationship or marriage, the only 3 guys you should have in your life other than your spouse or your husband is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And let that be. The less people you have in your business, the less problems you have in your relationship. Oh yeah, that goes for the men as well. Have a good day.
All right, folks, that's a quick synopsis of Dr. Farah Gray. That was posted on January the 7th. Today is January the 9th. And this has over 3.5 million hits. There were over 49,000 people that liked it, and there were 54,000 shares. So obviously, it's an intriguing discussion. So go ahead now, Empress. What's your opinion in terms of what she said? Because you're the one that's want to.
Well, to me, it's a little stringent. And, she brings up divorce rates and things like that. And that's a lot of it. You cannot get with someone and then lock them to you. It's not even humanly natural. We are communal people. We live, together. We only have men. We only have women. So, if you're not talking to any men or if you're a man and you're only talking to men all the time, you're living an unbalanced state of relationships. You have to have some type of feminine feedback. It's just only natural. I just think it's just extreme. Anyone that tries to restrict their husbands like that is really trying to safeguard their marriage. And I feel like if you have to do that, then you really don't have a good marriage or a good relationship, because you shouldn't have to keep that person trapped in order to keep them with you. And by denying them access to other people, that in a sense is like keeping them trapped to you. And, when it went on my page, there were differences of opinion between men and between women.
Uh-huh. No,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So, to me, I don't know. I think it's a little rigid. I think it's rigid. I didn't have that type of marriage and that type of relationship. I think those type of things cause you to lose intimacy and, to lose personality and character to your person and to your relationship, because then, you have nothing to talk about. What are you going to talk about? What are you going to do? It's just you two all the time. You can't be with someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's just not real.
All right, we have a call coming in. We're going to go to add a call here and hear what this person has to say. Go ahead, Sir Keith Anthony calling in from England. Keith Anthony, you're a person that's out there and you've traveled all Europe giving you different discussions. And you hear the subject matter here. What do you want to add or comment on regarding the subject matter? And if you want to pose a question to Empress T, go ahead, Sir Keith.
I'm agreeing a lot with what Empress T is saying,
right.
but I'm going to add to it.
Okay.
That I've always, with all of my girlfriends and my ex-wife, I've never restricted them, and I think it's only natural for my partners to talk to other men and other women. And unfortunately, I can say I've lost every one of them that way. And so I don't date anymore because the chances of losing them are just so high. I'm thinking, what's the point? So I just don't go out looking for dates. I don't date women. I'm very happy to talk to women socially and in business meetings and that kind of thing. But I don't date them. I don't take them home. I'm thinking, what's the point? Because you're just going to lose them so fast. And I hate to say negative things like that, but when I've got the woman of my dreams, I don't want to tie her down.
Right.
But I know that if I don't tie her down, I'm going to lose her.
Well, here's the thing, and this is something that I also spoke about in one of my segments as well. If we change the focus, see, because what happens is when you get in a relationship, it's like a conquest thing. We have to think of who we are, men and females. You have to think the man is the conqueror. He's the hunter. He's going to go out there and hunt and get that woman. So the woman has a kind of responsibility. You have to keep this thing alive. You can't just get the man and that's it. You got to keep it challenging. And still, keep it interesting. The man has to still feel like he is viable, like he has to chase you to some extent. So you can't just give in. And like when you do give in, you have to make it intimate as well. It can't only be about sex. What happens in a lot of relationships is that it just turns into a sexual thing. And then, like I was saying, different chemicals come into play and it turns into something else. And then you have society that no longer is on the side of family. It is no longer on the side of marriages. At least that's not same sex, because now that's all they're pumping, same sex marriages. And it's like, wait a minute, what happened? Because within that, there's no structure for family. How do you really have a family with same sex marriages if someone is not donating a child that had an opposite marriage? So, but that's a different topic. But so that what we have to start doing is retraining ourselves when we get with people. We have to look for different things. It's not only about the sexual coming together. It's about an intimacy. It's about bonding, and then try to trigger those types of chemical reactions and then force that bonding, because that bonding is what's going to keep us together.
All right. Let me ask you the question. In case of this particular woman, she presents it as if her and her husband is a unit. Nothing else can come between them. What do you think, and I'd love to hear Sir Keith's input on that, if she was to find out that, hey, dang, her husband is doing the doogie with someone else, how you think she would take that? Because the thing that she
But Ruler, there's something even more. Not even that they're doing anything, just the fact that he has friends, because he's a man. There is no way in the world he doesn't have at least a friend. He doesn't even have to really be doing anything with the friend.
And that's why I
just
think
to have the friend alone, I would love to know.
And that's why I don't think this lady is genuine. Just looking upon her and see what she's talking. Some of these people try to put on her face and put on her front to let people think they have this perfect situation. There's no such thing. And, I'm not saying they cannot be, but I really find it hard to believe, because if she have a husband and she tells him so he cannot have any other girlfriend for hang with her, call her, anything. Look, man, you can have as many people. That's what makes you flourish more. It makes you learn more, learn to communicate more, learn to interact more, learn to accept other people. So if she has that kind of rigidity, me certainly wouldn't have nothing to do with she. Turn to Chris. Rula, what's a doggy? You know what the doggy is? Anthony, go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts on that, Keith.
Yeah, well, I sometimes go out on dates with women, but I don't take them home. I don't have sex with them. And the last time I had a girlfriend where I took her home was, you won't believe me, was 10 years ago. And I didn't have to fight with the mobile phone now. These days when I get dates, they've got their heads down in the mobile phone all the time. Uh-huh. They're more interested in the phone than me. And I find that difficult to fight with. And I find it incredible that people can't get their heads out of that technology.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for I'm not looking forward. Well, I'm not looking for a permanent relationship. I'm happy to go for a coffee or something like that with a woman, and I let them know that I'm not on the sexual agenda. A lot of them think I'm just gay, and I assure them I'm not gay. I'm not looking for a man. Mm-hmm. But I just don't go there, because I know that the moment they meet my man friends, they're going to be sleeping with my man friends. I've lost every single one of my girlfriends and my wife. My wife, I was a laughing stock. She slept with everybody in my office. I even lost my job that way, because she'd even slept with my boss, and I was the last to hear about it.
Oh, dude, it's not funny.
And this was because I didn't tie her down. I didn't say, you can't have man friends. I thought it was unnatural to say to a woman, you can't have man friends. And I think it's unnatural to say to a man, you can't have woman friends. But it's hard to imagine what, if I'm going out to see women, I can only imagine that my wife is going to be thinking, or my girlfriend is going to be thinking, what's he doing with her? It's natural to think the worst, isn't it? But when I do have, or when I did have, my wife, mm-hmm. I paid attention to her. When she came in through the door, I would rush to the door and I'd give her a hug and I'd ask her how her day was. and I'd buy her flowers and chocolates, and I'd keep the romance going all the time. And that was the way it was with me. When I first met her, that was when the foreplay started, and it didn't end until we said goodbye when I last saw her, which was on New Year's Eve, 2003, 2004. Or in fact, it was New Year's Eve, 1993, 1994, when she finally went out the door, and that was the last time I saw her. And that was when the foreplay ended. And I just kept it going all that time. And so you can't say it was my fault. I tried everything I could to keep that alive. But she was behind my back. I was the laughing stock because I let her have the freedom to go and see her male friends and that kind of thing. And she was sleeping with all of them. And it was all I could do. She was a very, I'm sort of bearing my soul here. I shouldn't perhaps tell you all this. She was very sexual. We were in bed all the time. She was wearing me out because she was 18 years younger than me. And I was giving her sex. She wanted me not to go to work because she wanted to have sex. She was that sexual. Wow. And I was doing it all the time with her. She was my dream come true in that department. Wow. But she couldn't get enough because I was going to work. So when I was going to work, she was still doing it.
But then, see, Keith, there's a lot of different things going on there. You can't say that it was just alone that she had friends and that's why the marriage broke apart. I mean, even if you had said to her, well, you can't have friends, I mean, you can't stop it. We live in a world of men and women, and that's who's out there. Trust and things like that, fidelity, those are other issues. Some people just have different training, and somebody 18 years younger, she's in a different state of body. Basically, her hormones are at a whole different level, a whole different peak. So, you have to take that into consideration, too. It's very sad. I hate to hear that. But that's not the case for everybody. Some people have the opposite thing, and it's and it's a wonderful thing. But again, I think we need to, try and come off, like you said, the technology thing. How many times do you go on a date and sit there and allow the person to be on the phone? Sometimes you have to set up some new ground rules and just say, if you don't mind, I'd like to get to know you a little better. If we could just, not have our phones on just for this one time, I would appreciate it. There's things that we can do to bring about changes, but I think that we've become so complacent with the way things are that we don't even say anything anymore because we're so afraid. We don't have a connect anymore. There's such a terrible disconnect, and that's what all that being on the phone is. Because when you're on the phone, you don't have to connect. You don't have to feel. You don't have to think. You don't have to do anything.
I'm a bit unique there because I have never owned a mobile phone. I don't want a mobile phone. They are dangerous, and I won't use one because I used to be. We talked about this on the last show, didn't we? When I was on it with you, Ruler, on Tuesday.
You did.
I won't have one because I used to be a radio engineer. They are killing people. I won't have one.
Yeah,
when
but
people
even
are on their mobile
but
phone, I just walk away from them.
We can still, set up ground rules. We have to bring it back. We have to bring it back to the connection, and that's what I always talk about. So long as there's that complacency when it comes to things like that, even communicating on Skype and on things. I think for military families and people who are away, it's great, grandparents, things like that. But if you really want to get to know someone, you don't want to get to know them through Skype. It's an artificial stimulation because it triggers the chemicals, but it's not really real because it only deals with one of your senses. It's not, one or two or three, but not all of them. Whereas when you're with someone and you meet them, you can see all of your six senses get a chance to, to check the person out. You get to bond. You get to look in each other's eyes. You get to touch, feel, smell the person, hear the person. How do they sound? Is this a voice that you can listen to? You know, sometimes you meet somebody online and they sound one way, and then you meet them in person, and it's like, please stop talking. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't look anything like your picture or whatever it is. So that we have to remove those things. Back in the day, people were getting together more. We didn't have, you know, all these barriers, these technological barriers. I think it's terrible for dating. Internet dating, I think, is the worst thing.
I agree with you there completely.
It's not personal at all. It doesn't allow people to really get together. You can meet. It might be a good way to meet, but I think that if you keep it on the internet, it can be very dangerous because there's no way of knowing how many people this person is talking to. It just doesn't have any more personal touch to it. I don't know where mankind is going to end up because between, you know, all the promoting of the same sex and the making everybody, you know, unisex, the girls look like boys, the boys look like girls. We don't know. Everything is androgynous. I don't know where we're heading. I don't know what's going to happen to people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. Folks, we're speaking with Empress Tee. It's 2 minutes on the upside of 11, and it's a weekly presentation of the thing we call, yes, higher frequency. And we also have Keith Anthony, and he does a show on Tuesdays. He's a hypnotherapist, and he touches on a lot of stuff to improve your health. And, you know, this subject matter also, if you think about it, has to do with your health. And, well, because if you get a relationship that's not good, it's going to make you feel bad. And I'm sure when she picked up on this particular subject to mention it today, it's tying with a higher frequency and a higher energy that she's been presenting each week. And we certainly want to thank some of y'all. Let me see. Royal says in the chat room, many men make the mistake of see a woman who they fancy and think he must have that woman, not caring whether that woman feel the same way about him. And that's really bad, he says. Toronto Queen says, better they stimulate rather than simulate. And SW says, why, Royal? Why you gone? I think they point. All right. Anyway, go ahead. Let's pick it up from there, T or Keith, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have here Mindful Records. He also said that what is inside a person, no one can or will avoid from coming out. So if a male or female has a flirting attitude, once the occasion comes, they will fall to their own ways. Now, there's a good topic, too, because what about flirting? Is that necessarily a bad thing? Some people do flirt, but it doesn't always mean anything. Some people just flirt because it's funny or fun, and it's a good feeling. Keith Anthony.
I do flirt with women, and I do it because I do it to cheer people up, because when I go to the supermarket, you know, the checkout girl is there, and she's had a bad day because she's working hard and she needs cheering up. So I do flirt with them. It's just a matter of smiling and being nice, and it lifts them and makes them feel better. And that's why I do it, because I just want to make them feel better. And it's also a good way of honing my skills as a hypnotherapist, because that's my business, to make people feel better. So that's why I do it.
But doesn't it make you feel better too? I flirt. I love to flirt. It's so much fun. It's just fun to me. I don't know. I don't do it to harm people. I don't do it to ruin anyone's relationship. That's just who I am. And I don't, you know, like I said, I don't do it only to make the other person feel good. It makes me feel good too, because when you flirt with someone, they compliment you as well. It's not a one-way thing. It's definitely an exchange, and it's just a short, brief exchange, but it's on such a higher and a different level of exchange, and it's quick and it's brief and it's beautiful, and it doesn't have to always end in sex. And now what happens is that some people don't know when to stop, and there's where you have the problem. So again, you have to be responsible. You know, if it's in fun, then, you know, let it be in fun. And
I think sometimes it has to do with one's personality. I mean, I'm a free flowing, you know, joking person, and that's me. So if I see somebody, I will definitely show certain tendencies which you may call it flirt, but it's not necessarily flirting. It's just a matter of my personality, my bubbly personality, my energy, and that's what comes out. And like Keith just mentioned, if I were to go into a restaurant, for example, and somebody's serving me and I'm sitting down there, the way I respond to them, you'd be amazed the smile you get on them, and they'll want to serve you much better as someone who's attending to you in a restaurant. So sometimes you can't just sulk up yourself, and because it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're right. If you're in a restaurant and you sound just like me, Ruler. You like me, you're going to be the only man in that restaurant who's going to say to the lady, I've been noticing you. You're working so hard. How many men are going to say that to the lady? And that's going to make her feel so good, isn't it? Because she is working hard.
Absolutely.
And you acknowledge her presence. And that's all it is. You connected with that person. And so that, there's really nothing wrong with it. And the same with having friendships outside. Because if a lot of times we have friends that you have had since childhood. So when you meet this person, you can't just say to your old friend, well, look now, I'm with this person now. We can't be friends anymore, okay? Don't call me. Don't come around.
Yeah.
I'm with this person now. That's it. But I mean, how do you orchestrate that? How do you cut off your friend?
And those type of relationship probably won't last long at all, because like you said, when you start to have somebody so regimented in terms of who they can speak to or not speak to, at some point, once that person goes out there and starts to speak to somebody, you're going to start to sense, and the person comes home, you're going to start to sense that something is not right. Then it's going to start generate, accusations
what's not right
and
is they're going to be
allegations.
bubbly and happy, because it's like flirting. They're going to feel happy again. And you're going to say, wait a minute, you two doggone happy. What's going on?
Yeah, man.
And there's where the relationship, starts to fall away.
I did a speech just before Christmas, and there were lots of ladies in the audience, and I was able to flirt with all of them while I was doing the speech, because you make eye contact with them and you just smile at them, and you look at them for just a little bit longer than you normally would, and they make eye contact with you. They can't fail to notice that you're appreciating the way they look. And it's great fun. And so you've got a big audience there and lots of attractive women, and they can see that you're appreciating them because you are looking specifically at that one woman who's there in the front row or the third row or the fifth row. And that was really good fun. And once the speech is over and you're in the break, they all come over and they talk to you because they can see you appreciated them.
You connected. You definitely connected. And that's what it's all about. And so, we can't be afraid of connection. Someone like that, I mean, to me, my response on my page was that she sounds really insecure. And, I laughed when I saw it. And she's really beautiful. She's an attractive woman, which is the craziest thing, because she should be saying, listen, honey, if he wants to go out there and mess up what we have, that's on him.
Insecurity, man. Insecurity.
Exactly. Because, I'm going to give you all the rope you need to hang yourself. Either that or you just going to have some extra rope. And a responsible man knows how to do it. I mean, you can go out and be personable. I want someone with friends. I don't want a man that doesn't have friends. What is he going to do? Sit up underneath me and worry me all day? Oh, no. You're not going to be worrying me all day long. I'm sorry. You better get you some friends, come with some friends, and keep those friends. Because what are we going to always do together? We have to do things with friends. You got to go out with them. You got to exchange. It can't be like that. It doesn't work. It can't work. And that's what the problem is. If that's what these women are doing and these men are saying, we can't do it, that's the big fail right there. It's unnatural. The issue is the security of the relationship, the stability. If the person loves you and you're doing what you're supposed to do and you've bonded sufficiently and you keep that bond going, you don't have anything to worry about, because they're just going to go and talk to these people, and they know where their main connection is at home, where they're rooted. You have to root them in, and that's really it.
All right, it's 6 minutes after 11. We're going to take it down for another 4 minutes to 10 minutes after the hour If someone else would like to add to the discussion, the number here is 770-744-2154. We have Sir Keith Anthony out of Croydon. He has a show here every Tuesday, and he covers hypnotherapy and other subject matters around those topics. And Empress T, it's the first time she's diverted somewhat from the presentation she's been doing over the past 7 weeks. And indeed, it's quite an interesting topic. A lot of people, there's something like about 40 persons that are tuning in now in the various chat rooms, just on the Ruler Brown Network and Ustream, and on. So you know that people are excited about when they hear anything to do with sex and love and them thing there. Yeah, controversial topic. And like the young lady says, look, it's a natural thing. So once it gets unnatural, let me ask you, T, or Keith. Say, for example, her husband was to go out there and meet someone else and start to have some kind of affinity, some attraction, some magnetism to this other person. Do you think he should go home and mention it to her? And what kind of response you think she would give to him? Keith, let me hear you first, and then T. Go ahead, Keith.
You're suggesting Empress T's husband met another woman and
No.
some physical attraction to her?
Not me. Mine is in the cemetery. I don't know what he can do.
No, the lady that was on the thing. I have another call coming in. We're gonna hear what this other person has to say. All right, caller, you're here joining in Keith Anthony and also Empress T. Go ahead, caller. Let me hear your take on what's going on. Caller? Oh, the caller got quiet. All right, I think the caller must have... Caller, you there? All right, let's go back to you, Keith. No, Keith, I was talking about the young lady in the presentation that was talking about Dr. Gray or whatever her name is. Go ahead, Keith.
I'm not quite sure what.
All right,
what the question
I
was.
saying the lady. Okay, the person's calling back. Hello, caller.
Blessed morning. You can hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead. Say your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Hartford, Connecticut in the USA, and this is Servant David.
Servant David in Hartford, Connecticut. Oh,
Yes,
you're
sir.
moving around. All right, David. So, David, you hear what's going on here. We have Empress T and Keith Anthony. You've heard their summary of what they thought of the video. First of all, did you hear that young lady in the video?
Yeah.
Okay, we'd like to get your input on just overall what her stance is based on the statistics. Her feeling is that, look, man, you have a man and a woman, you have a husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend. You shouldn't be talking to anybody on the outside. What's your thought on that?
Well, I kind of want to piggyback on the beautiful Empress T, what she said about she sound insecure, you know. She sound like basically just insecure. She doesn't sound like she's too confident in what or who she actually has.
Right.
The saying says, "Show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are." That is not all. That is not always true, but it does stand some type of it holds some type of pressure there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it has some type of meaning there.
Mm-hmm.
So if my friends reflect who I am, that means I've built a relationship with them for years and et cetera, et cetera. Then I meet Sally, and Sally said, "Boy, you can't have no friend," and this and that. That kind of that's like Empress said. That's taking a part of you
Mm-hmm.
away from you, so you're no longer you again. You know, when you get married, you have bridesmaids, you have best man. Some of those best men sometimes are actual friends of the bride, not really necessarily the groom.
Mm-hmm.
Groom may know them, but they're not always the friends of the groom. They're sometimes the friend of the wife.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, after you get married, you have to dump those best men. You have to dump those maid of honor.
Now go work. Got it.
It not gonna work.
Exactly.
It not gonna work.
Exactly.
No. My opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, yes, you can have your friends. You should have friends, you know, but with leniency. You can't, especially when you're married, you don't want to run back and tell any and anybody your marriage problems that you might be going through, because a lot of times they don't really care. They just want to have something to go back and talk about, you know, and then that way, you know, your business is all over the world. So it's good to have friends, but you have to be what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be careful. Yes, you can't go too over it. It's fine to flirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my man. Good for you, good for the heart, man.
Yes, but you have to be careful and you have to be respectful. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're flirting and your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend say, "Look, babes, you know, it really troubles me say you flirt and this and that," you can have the respect for that person and say, "Okay, well, I won't flirt no more in front of you or behind your back, because what's done in the dark will come to light. It will come to light." So respectfully, you can say, "Okay, I won't flirt no more," but you don't have to cut them off. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to have friends. It's all right to flirt and just have fun, you know. But as long as you're respectful with it, and as long as they know, you know, it's not going anywhere. Like a little while ago, I just flirted with Empress. I said, "Hello, beautiful Empress," and you know, she is beautiful.
We all flirt with
I'm not
Empress.
trying to get her in bed and all of that.
None of that.
And you wouldn't. And I understand. and again, like you said, it's the responsibility. And I think that, you know, we owe a lot to ourselves to retrain not just ourselves but our children too, because they watch us, so that the children of these people who are getting married and cutting off all their friends, what do they think? What must be going through their heads? Because my kids are very social beings. They have always been social. They are social to the point where they can talk to people of different nationalities, different ages, different genders, and can communicate effectively. And that's because they have seen me, and they've seen their father, and they've seen us together. They see our family, and that's who we're people, you know. And we owe it to ourselves. We have to change this thing around. We can't sit back, you know, and just say, "Oh, yeah, this is this. We have to now start taking steps." So everybody here, all these people listening now, we all now have new seeds that we have to now start going plant. And we have to be more mindful of the relationships that we have with people, you know, and be more jovial, be more joyful, be more flirty, be happier, and, you know, share that love. You know, Keith mentioned that it makes the people feel good, but he's leaving out the vital part. It makes us feel good, too. It makes you feel good. When you go and you say to someone, "Hey, handsome, what's going on with you today?" And the guy could be 80 years old. And I mean, if you see the smile that comes on this man's face, oh, man, he probably hasn't smiled in God knows how long. And the wife is grabbing on to him because she's saying, "Wait a minute, don't you do that," you know. But I know that he got a spark, and so did I. So it's not just one-sided. Don't deny yourself the love too, and that's what's going on. We have to get this thing back going. We got to get the love back flowing, people. We got to get, you know, reconnected and stop with the being insecure. If somebody's going to leave you, they're going to leave you from the get-go.
All right,
and that's just the truth.
Okay. Hold a minute, folks. It's 15 minutes after. We're going to wrap it up in 5 minutes, so we're going to summarize the inputs at this point. And but before we do that,
wait, Ruler, before you do that, I see that SWA asked a good question. This is like a great question. How about being friends with an ex-mate? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
I say you have no way not to be friends with them. You cannot tell that person that they can never speak to them again because they've already bonded at a time and in a way that you will never understand, and you can never supersede because it was before you.
But wait a minute, no. If an ex-mate was really abusive to that person, clearly
that's something different. You're not going to want to be friends with an ex-mate that was abusive.
Well,
I think
you'd be amazed. No, you'd be amazed how many and women. You'd be amazed how many women who get abused, verbally, physically, emotionally, all forms, and they find it so hard to disconnect from that other person. Many women out there, and that's why sometimes some of them end up getting killed. Sorry to really say that, but you know they have to really be brave enough to just separate totally and don't even talk to those people.
It's a security thing. If they don't feel secure in the next relationship and really within themselves, those are not common issues. They are and they're not, but they have more to do with security in the relationship than anything, not just on the female's part, but on the male's part, because most abusive males suffer deeply from insecurity and not just one form, from a full range of insecurities. So that when you go into that, again, the responsibility lies in how we're raising our sons. That's the only way I can say that we can change it, really. It has to start from young, and it has to start from our examples of what we are showing them.
Right.
We are not mindful of who we are in relationships. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to argue. In fact, you need to. But again, the ego can't be the lead of the argument, so that if you're not coming from a place of love, it's going to be destructive and harmful. And so that we have to, like I said, we have to teach ourselves a lot of, we learn a lot of things. There's only two main emotions. That's fear and love. We got to stay on the side of love so that everything that we do, it emanates love. Everything comes from a loving standpoint. I argue with my kids. I've argued with my spouse from a loving point of view, so that he knows I don't hate him. We're not going to kill each other. We're not going to go cheat. It's not even about that. It's just that we disagreed on this point passionately, but the love is still there, so that he doesn't have to feel like, oh, I don't want him. He's got to go find another woman now because he thinks I don't want him. No, it has nothing to do with that, because we're at a standpoint of love all the time. And so that's what we need to get to. We really have to love ourselves, love our sons, love our daughters, and let them know that it's okay to love. It's not weak.
All right. Before we wind it up, and thanks for that summary. I like those thoughts. Mindful 13 writes, only a male or female with almost want a sexual mentality and cannot be friend after relation, and it depends on how they fall apart. I'm not sure I understand that fully, but if Mindful 13 wants to call in and elaborate on that. All right, David.
Yes, sir.
When Empress started, she one of the components you want to talk about was technology, its effect on today's society and relationships. Just give me in 45 seconds your thoughts on that, or would you summarize that?
Technology has come a long way. Technology has interfered in so many things. Technology can be, if used, almost like anything, if used wisely, it can be good. But if used foolishly, it could be bad and it could be harmful. A lot of people nowadays...
David, hold your thoughts for a second. I'm going to just tie in Fitzroy, and then he'll listen on and then give us his input. Go, Fitzroy, you there?
Yeah, I'm on the side, bro. All
right, just hold your thoughts here. Let David finish his thoughts. And we have 4 persons on the line. You see what the technology is doing? Go.
You see?
go. 5 of us, actually.
And that's because it's being used wisely.
All right, we're using it wisely.
Okay. Technology has taken over a lot of books, a lot of natural ways of living. Like, for instance, pastors, a lot of them don't even use the Bible when they're on the pulpit no more. They have the iPad, they have the tablet, and this and that. If you take a self-survey on how long do you spend on Facebook, Twitter, etc., and then compare that to how long you spend with your family or with the Bible or reading the Bible.
True.
Or reading anything. Let's just say, because there's some people who don't, so even reading the Bible, like, for instance, okay, like I said, I'm a type of person where flirt a lot, harmless flirting, but I flirt a lot. A few weeks ago, I was supposed to have a debate. I was doing a lot of research and you know, using books and using my phone, a lot of time the phone or the computer.
Right.
Now, I'm also on Facebook a lot. And my wife was like, you know, you're on Facebook a lot. Who you meet, so find the line, you must meet somebody. In deep down inside, I feel like she don't really mean it, but in the back of her mind, she could be thinking, because yeah, lately I have been spending more time. But what I've been doing was, you know, the notes and looking on this website and in this here, there, all over, and then mix up with the Facebook and this and that. So to her, all she see is my head down in the phone, down in the light, this and that. And so she make a little comment, you know. But that's technology, because if it was just books, she wouldn't have said a word.
Yeah, good point. I like that. That's a good point. All right.
And also books in the home. I can remember myself, well, I lost most of my books to the Hurricane Sandy. I had so many books, I had to keep some of them down in the cellar. And, you know, you go into homes now, you don't see any books. Nobody has any more actual physical books. And, you know, technology is cool and everything. E-books are nice. But what about when you don't want to hold your phone? What about when you just want to, you know, hold a book or language on one page? You know, like sometimes I read and I just want to reread that page over and over, or highlight it, or, you know, just have it and show it. And it's
all right, let me say this.
Let
me say this, Empress. That's an opportunity for you to form a company to supply books to some of those people, lease it to them and so forth. Because that's a very good point. Many homes now, we probably don't have stacks of books there. We rely on the various devices, the laptop, the computer, the cell phone. So that's a very good point. All right, before we stretch it out too long, we have Mr. 13 on the line, the CEO of Mindful 13 Records, Mr. Fitzroy Francis. Fitzy, you wrote something in the chat room. I know you're calling to just elaborate on what you wrote, and anything that you've heard that you want to highlight.
I was just well, first I must say, also that built upon a strong foundation can never be overshown by no negativity. Because
I love that.
When people are built up with mind and well-formed education and knowledge, no trial or whatever can conquer that, you know, because that's the household. The household is built on certain principles. You know, so what I'm saying that if a man, if you're dealing with a person, or a male or female, and you don't have the sexual mentality about them, because love is different from sex, you know.
Right.
You know, and I'm talking fundamentally because I've seen my mother and father live for almost 75 years together, and have 8 children together, and my father, a woman never come to my door yet and say, I sleep with the husband, and a man never come to my house or come to me sleep with my mother.
Right.
So I know that this principle, it may be dissipated in this modern reality according to technology, but technology don't rule we, because we learn that computer technology is an input-output process. It's what you put inside it brings out. So if you, as a mother, have a household really like, say, come to a discipline, say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to spend X amount of time on the computer. Because everything is on the computer. The Bible can be read on the computer. The book, all the books that are there physically can be read on the computer. You know? So we have to separate the mentality of sex and love. You know? And we have love-sex relation, and we have sex-love. That's why we have prostitute. A woman will sex 100 men, but she still have a man she love.
True. Good point.
She still have a man she love, but she will go there and know that, all right, her sexual prejudice is business. She don't love none of those guys. You understand? So what I'm saying that technology, it is the mind. It is the mind, not the technology. It is the mind. And the discipline. As I say, once the foundation is concrete, there's nothing can overthrow it.
All right.
That's the big key, discipline.
All right. Okay. All right. With that being said, I'm going to go around the table and get last-minute inputs from each of you, and then we're going to wrap it off. We're going to end with Empress T because it's her segment. So, Brother David, anything that Mr. 13 said, or just generally was discussed today, take about a minute to summarize your inputs. Go ahead.
Well, I respect his opinion and his views on it. I respect everybody's, Empress, yours, everyone's. Basically, it's true what he said, but the main key is discipline. As long as you can discipline yourself to do to do certain things or not to do certain things. Because if you don't have discipline and you don't have structure, you're gonna fall.
Right.
You're gonna fall for like you said, the technology, the ways of the world per se. But if you stick to God, that's number one. Always keep God in every single thing you do. When you eat, sleep, or fart, keep God in you.
Okay.
And you should go the right way.
All right. So Keith, thank you so much for that input, Servant David, and I really appreciate it. Anthony, Keith, go ahead. Just your final thoughts.
I really enjoyed being on the show today, and it's great talking with Empress T. I think the first time, and I loved what you said, Empress T, about there being only two emotions, because I was listening to that or reading about that earlier on today, which is love and hate. We really have to build that love, and we have to stop being afraid of making that connection with each other. And when it comes to love, we have to learn to use that love. And when I say love, I'm not talking about sex here. We have to build that connection with each other and generate that love for each other. And that means male and female. And we've got to stop being afraid of making that connection with each other, regardless of whether we're male or female, because it's not a sexual thing. It's just a powerful energy, that love, and that love is a very powerful healing force. And the reason we've got so much hate in the world and so much war is because we're not building that love between us.
Right.
And that's my final word.
All right. Love that. Great final words. And I know 13 you came on and you had the input 2 talks ago. I'm going to only give you 20 seconds. Anything you want to wrap it off here. And then we're going to go to...
Well, all I can say, humanity by nature is gifted to think freely, And in order that free thought should be led to our goal, our liberty, our independence. And our way of thinking must be shaped by discipline,
Right.
Fundamentally, as the Virgin said, God, that, whatever you perceive him to be, that's the ultimate, Once you have that discipline, have that spirituality, then everything will work.
Absolutely, my brethren. Well said, my brethren. All right. Empress T, take it away. It's your segment. Take a couple of minutes to just wind it up here. Go ahead.
Just want to thank you again, Rula, and everyone, and for everyone that called in, Keith Anthony, Mike Full 13, and who did I leave out?
Servant David. Servant
David, yeah. Thank you, gentlemen, for calling in and taking part.
Don't forget.
I would have loved to,
Don't forget the myriad of inputs in the chat room. There are an awful lot of inputs.
Yes. I would have loved to have heard a female voice as well to, balance off me and all the input in the chat room. But again, and then I just wanted to say to Keith Anthony, I had a segment on love and fear, the two emotions. Go back and listen to it. Maybe we can recap it or do a remix, you and I together. But it's really important. Like I said, we have to bring everything back. We've strayed so far away from our spirituality. We've caught up in the rhetoric of, names, this religion, Christianity, this Catholicism, this Lutheran, and we've lost the main part of what it's all about. And that is the spirituality. That is the connection. So long as we're caught up in the rhetoric, we're not doing the work. And the work is to be connected. We are connected to the force. We are connected to each other, and we have to get that connection back. We have to start with our children. We have to start with ourselves. We are all reflections of each other so that, it sends out a ripple. So when I do these segments, is to hopefully do a ripple effect. It's also to plant little seeds. I don't know when they'll grow, but my seeds are going to grow. I know that because it's all with love. Everything that I do is from a standpoint of love. And I just would like to see everyone get to that same side. If we can all start, being mindful of whether our thoughts are based in love or based in fear, then we can change everything just within one day. You can change it right now. The next person that you speak to, Are you speaking to them from love or fear? Are you afraid of anything from them? Are you resentful or anything? Start it from there. Start changing. Send out a new ripple. We have to change it. We have to change it. That's it.
Absolutely. Barry Sam and Lady Saw sang the song earlier. She has changed. And again, folks, this is an amazing, another edition, number 8 of Higher Frequency. And we certainly want to thank Empress T for a splendid job in bringing forth this subject matter this week. If you have any subject matter that you'd like for her to discuss in a forum like this, send it to me or to her, and we'll get that, or drop it on her Facebook page and say, oh, by the way, Empress T, can you approach this topic on your segment? And I also want to thank the big man, Sir Keith Anthony. Make sure you check him out every Tuesdays. He has an exciting segment also. I want to say big up to that gentleman. And we have more calls that are coming in, and folks, we're winding it down. We can't take any more calls now. Also, to Mindful 13, the CEO of Mr. Fitzroy Francis, the CEO of Mindful 13 Records, and the one and only Servant David. Again, thank you all, folks. Next week, Monday, remember 10:30, Toronto Queen does her segment out of Canada, and the Canadian Capsule Tuesday, Keith Anthony, and on Friday, the one and only Empress T. Thank you all so much. We call this Higher Frequency with a sense of purpose. Thank you all so much. All right?